Okay, this is an intermediate application. It's based upon techniques you learn in the beginning forms, but you use them throughout. It's based on Wu Jing Qian or five ancestor fist or five element fist techniques. We're going to be utilizing not just our Tu Da technique, but we're also going to be doing our Paset Sut technique that we use at the closing or the endings of our form. This is a variation. It's a Shana technique that uses those principal movements. Once again, this is our attacker. I'm the defender. The attacker, we're going to start in a neutral position. Neutral position is the beginning way we like to start these to get familiar with the techniques. He's going to use his left arm and reach out with his hand and grab my right wrist. So go ahead. He grabs the right wrist. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open our hand. What that does is by opening our hand, it actually expands our wrist. Making a fist actually makes our wrist more narrow. So by opening it, it widens the wrist, which helps loosen his grip. I'm going to come up with my hand, just rising up. What that does is it starts to bend the wrist of my opponent. My left hand is going to come over, and this is important to notice this. I'm taking it and putting it on the outside of his forefinger, his first finger there, and then I'm wrapping my hand on top of it. So I'm using both hands here. Now I'm going to actually start to come over the top, which turns his arm over. At the same time, I'm going to step forward and bring my right elbow on top of his left elbow. And if you can see, don't move. This is what happens when I turn my hand over. So I'm actually in a wrist position where I have leverage here. If I press forward, just in this position, it starts to create a lot of pressure in the wrist joint. So this is the Shana technique, or the joint manipulation here that's happening. This is for leverage. So I'm actually have this is what my hand looks like. And I'm just pressed down, and he winds up going over and bending over. In translation, we call this technique Ancestor's bow for promotion. It's a bowing technique. So once again, he grabs. My elbow is coming in a little bit here. I'm rotating in. I'm not pulling back. I'm also not pushing out or using my shoulder to rise. As my hand is coming up this way, my right elbow is coming in. So I'm doing this number, and you can see it actually causes him to slip a little bit in the wrist break. So what I'm doing from this position is I'm grabbing this so his wrist, he doesn't let go. And then I start to turn over as I step forward, and I press down. And this gives me my leverage right here on his wrist, and I can press this straight down, and it does cause a lot of pain. So that's important. Okay, from the other direction, he reaches out, grabs. I am coming in with my right elbow and up. I open my palm, my hands, and I come up. So my thumb is on the inside of his forearm, and the rest of my hand is open toward the outside of his forearm. So I'm coming in. I'm taking with my left hand, reaching over. My thumb is grabbing his forefinger. I'm pushing them to his fingers together, and I'm wrapping the rest of my hand over the top. I start to turn over and step forward. My right elbow comes on top of his elbow, and this releases his grip, which gives me, because I was already holding it, leverage here. And then I just make him back. Okay? So one time, a little faster, he grabs. I'm coming up. Okay? Immediately grabs. So that's it. Thank you.